Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! First story. All I wanted was a nice Black Panther themed birthday. So this is a story about my second big encounter with my crazy neighbor. Just some information, this happened on my 16th birthday. A few months after my I don't work here lady situation with the same neighbor. It was during July, a week before my 16th birthday. I wanted my birthday to be Black Panther themed. All my previous birthdays were Marvel Heroes themed. I made my list of invitations. I invited some of my school friends, city friends and relatives. And since I invited relatives, I was certain that there would be younger kids. So I asked my mom if she could find someone to dress up as Black Panther. She said okay. It wasn't easy finding someone, but luckily my old friend's dad was okay with being Black Panther. Fast forward to my birthday. It was a nice and amazing birthday. My friends and family enjoyed the party, so I was just so happy. My friend's dad was doing a nice job as Black Panther. I was happy that he was making children smile. Everything was perfect. Though I wouldn't be writing this if it was. The time came for the piñata to be obliterated. Everyone was supposed to be given a turn in trying to decapitate it. When it came for it to be my little cousin's turn, we, my parents and I, heard a mysterious yelling coming from the front yard. We were celebrating my birthday in the backyard, so we didn't hear the yelling the first time. We went to check what or where the sound was coming from, only to see Karen obviously mad about something. My dad asked her why she was here and why she was shouting. And she responded with, "Why wasn't my daughter invited to this party?" Well, you see, my son is not very comfortable with being near you ever since that incident. So? It was just a small accident. So why wasn't my daughter invited? I told my dad it's okay because I knew she wouldn't leave until we allowed her and her daughter. I thought that things couldn't go wrong since she was happy that I allowed her and her daughter into the party. That was until Karen saw that some of the people I invited were black. Karen threw a fit screaming, "Why would we invite some racial slur to this party?" I told her that we did not have a problem with any race and that the party was a black superhero themed anyway. Karen then said I was an R-word, started insulting me for making it Black Panther themed. "Mommy, please stop. Black people are nice people," her daughter told her. Karen got mad hearing her daughter say this. "Look what you've done. You corrupted my daughter, you jerks. You have no right to call my son that, you witch." I was not shocked, because I kinda expected this to happen the moment I let her in the party. You need to treat all the people how they should be treated, not treat them like dirt. Mom kept going. "Fine, you want me to treat them how they should be treated? Then I'll treat them that way." Karen then started walking towards my friend who was too afraid to move, as he didn't like being yelled at. Karen then picked up the piñata bat, then proceeded to swing it right at his stomach. My friend fell on his knees from the pain and started coughing and crying in pain. My parents then quickly called an ambulance for my friend, and they said they would be here in 15 minutes. Karen then started walking over to Black Panther, my friend's dad. "And that is what I think of your black superhero." Then she tried to hit my friend's dad with the bat, but luckily he was able to catch the bat and take it out of her hands. He then proceeded to tackle Karen and plant her face to the grass. Also, did I mention that he was a police officer? He then asked some of the adults to hold Karen while he went to his bag and got his radio and some cuffs. I was actually surprised he brought his police stuff with him to the party, but didn't question it as it proved to be useful. He returned with the cuffs and his radio and proceeded to cuff Karen and tell her, "Ma'am, you are under arrest for disturbing the peace attempting to harm a police officer, child endangerment. She wanted to hit the other black kids, and assaulting a minor. My son, you will stay here as I have already called for a car to take you away. My parents luckily had a number of Karen's daughters dead, so they called him and informed him of the events that took place. He agreed to come pick her up and started apologizing the entire phone call till he arrived at our house. The ambulance arrived and took my friend to the hospital. Karen was once again brought to a nice comfy prison cell to stay in. And since this was not the first time Karen hurt a minor, she did not spend a few weeks in prison but a few months instead. She was also given a fine for my friend's hospital fees and that her husband wasn't allowed to help pay the fine. So in the end my birthday was ruined and my friend got hurt. But at least Karen got to spend some more time in prison and a fine for the damage she caused my friend. Next story, entitled Customer Steals from My Table. I like fresh ground pepper. My wife likes fresh ground pepper. My friends like fresh ground pepper. I particularly like it on my weekly Sunday breakfast, which, as it happens, takes place in the same local neighborhood diner as it has for 10 years. Alas, this diner deploys simple pepper shakers, inadequate for our tastes, so we bring along our own purse-sized meal. This diner, I should further point out, is generally patronized by regulars each Sunday morning, and we are on smile and wave basis with most of them. As usual, this past Sunday we were enjoying our breakfast, talking, laughing over stupid jokes, the usual. At the table to our immediate right was a couple of about mid-50s, same as us, but unfamiliar to us, not regulars. And the man had a loud voice, so loud in fact that he made our conversation a little difficult. During a lull in our conversation, I heard him say, "Pass the pepper." My friends then mentioned that they were going for a bike ride later and wondered if we'd like to join them. I thought it over, and just as I was about to answer, I heard the scrapping of a chair from the next table. Suddenly, a man whose loud voice was looming over our table. "I said pass the pepper, damn it!" He barked and reached across the table to grab my pepper mill. A cacophony of protests, surprise, queries, and exclamations followed. I managed to pluck his hand and looked up at him. "Hey, what are you doing?" I demanded. My friend, a very mild-mannered and a gentleman, jumped to his feet and squared up. "Pass the pepper!" The man snarled again. "What is so hard to understand?" I quickly slid the pepper mill out the table and into my bucket. Then I too stood up. "The pepper?" I asked. "You mean my pepper? That isn't the communal pepper?" "What is wrong with you?" he shouted. "I want the pepper." At this point, his wife/girlfriend/companion, quicker on the uptake, realized his mistake and tried to get his attention. Roy, sit down. It is not Broy, listen." She tried, but Roy, doubling down and in high dudgeon, was not to be denied. "Get that pepper out of your bucket and hand it over. Now!" Eyes were uncomfortably on us. Other tables were watching this play out in surprise and shock. At this point, a server approached with her arms full of someone else's breakfast. "Hey guys, not sure what's going on here, but I have hot food here. Coming through." She passed, Roy shouted again and this time threw his hands in the air in what the hell? In a what the hell gesture. It all happened in a blur. And before the server could dicky, she was covered in sunny-side-up eggs, home fries and sausage. "Roy!" The woman screamed. "What the hell? Hey, watch out!" "Oh no!" And a dozen other exclamations from the onlookers erupted all at once. "No!" Roy shouted. "See what you did?" His wife had scrambled to her feet to assist the server, who dropped the second plate as well. My wife also got up to help, and the owner, Donna, a sweet-faced 65-year-old, suddenly emerged from the kitchen. "What is going on?" she said, alarmed. Everyone started talking at once, and Roy, the alpha Roy, shouted over everyone. "This jerk," indicating me, "wouldn't pass me the pepper," he roared. Donna gaped uncomprehendingly at him for a moment. She looked at the mess on the floor, the now red-faced and furious Roy, the other customers, and then at me. "Hey, what? There is pepper on your table." "Roy," his wife screamed again. "Apologize now and sit down." "It is my pepper mill," I said again, "not the restaurant's." "Idiot!" Roy shouted. "Why didn't you say something, jerk?" I laughed out loud and looked with amazed surprise at my friend. He stared straight at Roy and said in a quiet but firm voice, "Listen to your wife and sit down." Donna looked around at the mess in confusion. At this point, approximately 45 seconds had elapsed since Roy first lurched to his feet to steal my pepper. "I think I'm going to have to ask you to leave," she said to Roy. "I can't have this at my restaurant." Roy's wife, nearly in tears, began apologizing rapidly and repeatedly. Roy started protesting and demanding that he get to eat his breakfast. Donna, sweet-faced but tough, told him he could leave voluntarily or she would have the police assist him. "Roy, now," his wife said. She left a wad of money on the table and grabbed his arm, pulling him to the door. "I am so sorry," she said to Donna and the server as she left. "I guess he loves his pepper too." Next story. My Revenge Socks. A few years ago, I was a shift manager at a craft store. Every season, our store gets limited edition seasonal items. Once they sell out, that's it. In this story, one of the items is a pair of hedgehog socks. 10 minutes before closing, one of my co-workers asked if I could speak to a customer because she was irate. No problem. So I find her, and the second I see her, I know she's going to be a jerk. She's a total cheer mom. Yes, there are plenty of lovely cheer moms and plenty of bad apples. And she was standing with her arms crossed, while vigorously tapping her foot on the floor. I smile, start to let her know I am the manager on duty, and ask what I can do to assist her. But she cuts me off to complain about the employee that asked me to come over. She calls my co-worker an idiot and says she realizes why they are working in a craft shop because. I gently repeat myself asking why she needs assistance. She goes into a huge rant about how she called 2 other stores and had them print out the inventory numbers for a pair of hedgehog socks. She says that her cheerleading team is going to some sort of a big competition, and the hedgehog socks will be the pièce de résistance for their uniform. Yes, she literally said that hedgehog socks are the pièce de résistance. She said that she knows we have 4 pairs somewhere in the store. I look at her paper, get the item number, and look for the 4 pairs. Now the issue is that 4 is a really low unit number, and the likelihood that someone has moved them and not put them back or that one was stolen, etc. is pretty high. I don't find the socks and I try to explain to her that I could not find them, but I could do a full store search and call her in the morning. She doesn't understand how this could happen, wants me to search with her there and right now, and proceeds to cuss me out when I escort her to the door because we are now closed. And I reiterate that I will call her in the morning. As soon as the doors are locked, I give my coworkers their closing duties, and I start power searching every nook and cranny for these damn hedgehog socks. I end up finding 3, and I immediately have my coworker ring him up, and I buy them. I will not stop there. I go on to the computer and see which stores in my country have remaining sock inventory. It was actually really limited, and I buy out the entire remaining stock of the hedgehog socks. With my discount, they were 75 cents a piece or something like that. She pissed me off by being so rude to my co-workers and to me that I bought out the company's entire nationwide inventory of a pair of socks. I called her the next morning, apologized because I couldn't find the socks. She was rude about it, and she said she was going to call other stores herself and look for them. When I told my own boss she's much older and has been managing stores for a few decades, when I told her what I had done, she stared at me for a good few seconds and proceeded to high-five me while laughing until she cried. Everyone received Hedge Pig socks as gifts that year. Next story. I found a way to teach her a lesson. There are 3 children in our family. I'm the oldest, and I have a younger sister and a brother. My sister is one of those people who constantly begs for food. Every time my brother or I eat something, she asks us to share it, and it pisses me off terribly. Why? Because when we eat together, she doesn't buy food. I mean, when mom asks at the mall or in a cafe what she will have, she never orders anything, all because she wants to lose weight. But this does not prevent her from eating from our plates later. I try not to share with her, but mom or dad shame me for it every single time. And my brother too. It is getting ridiculous. If, for example, we will go to the cinema and mom will buy us all popcorn and cola. I tell my sister to get her own, but she replies with, "Oh, I don't want any. I'm not that hungry." And so on. And then the whole film she will eat my popcorn, my brother's popcorn, and my parents too. It just pisses me off. But I found a way to teach her a lesson. My sister is fixated on cleanliness. She's just obsessed with it. One day we all drove together and stopped at a drive-in cafe. Everyone put in their order, of course, except for her. While my sister went to the toilet and we were all waiting for her, I licked the salt off every one of my french fries. When she finally came back with the smell of the food and all that, of course she began to ask just to try. This time with a sweet smile I handed her my fries and told her that I didn't want them so she could eat them. Naturally, she did not refuse. Once she had eaten a decent amount, she said, "Strange fries. They are not salty at all." And you should have seen her horrified face when I replied with a grin. Of course. That's because I licked off all the salt. Let's just say that she does not ask me for food anymore. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.